Baltimore and legend with me. We welcome Dick Vermeil back onto the program for
Thank you.
Hey man,
Thank you.
How
Nice
you
to be with you.
Yeah, every time you come, you're bringing wine. I know.
Done right. I'm in the business, so I got to sell it.
Well, but you drink a little bit of it. You don't drink the profit stuff.
Yeah,
right?
that's the nice thing about it. If you can't sell it, you can drink it.
What's filling all of your days these days? What else do you do?
The wine business. I do some speaking around the country. I was in Florida last week, and I was in San Diego Monday, and now I'm here. So I stay busy.
This thing has grown just a little bit from 1980 and you and bringing the Eagles. Did you ever think it could get this big?
No. From 1980 to a health Super Bowl 34 when I was there the next time, it was huge, and now it's that much bigger again today.
Well, I think back to that team and those individuals now from St. Louis and no franchise there now.
No franchise, and three of them are in the running to go in the Hall of Fame this week.
I was just going to ask.
Kurt Warner.
You think this is the year for Kurt Warner specifically?
I think it is. I don't know how they can keep passing him up.
Yeah.
Having him in the finals and not make it. Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt. Also, I had Morton Anderson as well at Kansas City for a couple of years. So I got four guys that have a chance to go in.
When you think of the Hall of Fame, what would be the ideal way of doing that? We talk about this with baseball all the time, that veterans and the veterans committees there, but first time out, it's sports.
3 times as many teams.
So you want to make the Hall bigger a little bit?
I think they ought to take a bigger class in, players, coaches, administrators in 3 different categories. And when you put them all together, you're eliminating some people that ought to be in. Hey, Marty Schottenheimer won 200 games. You know how many coaches won 200 games? Not many. Dan Reeves been to 4 Super Bowls. Now, he lost all 4, but he's not in the Hall of Fame. Those kind of guys, hopefully, there'll be a coach go in this time.
Is there a part for you that all the broadcasting you did all those years that you took off from the game that other people, like, Belichick's never spent a minute out of the game. So many people, that perspective, that had to have helped you the second time around. But it probably didn't help your Hall of Fame candidacy because you probably would have had the opportunity to win another 100 games, right?
Well, thank you. But, what it did, it gave me an opportunity to watch other great coaches, these really great with the Tom Landrys, the Don Shula's, the Bud Grants, go watch them practice, sit in their meeting rooms, and I was a former coach, and say, geez, they're doing this better than I was doing it. So I learned things, and I'd say, I think I was doing what I was doing a little better than they're doing it this way. So I learned a lot, and it helped me when I came back into coaching. It was like going to graduate school.
But the whole time, were you trying to learn for the next time? Or
no.
You never thought there would be a next time,
No,
did you?
I did. I thought I might go back early. I didn't move from Philadelphia because I thought in 1 year I'd go back. And then they gave me a job broadcasting. I went from making $75,000 a year, working 7 days a week year-round, to working 16 weekends, making $150,000 a year. The old days, they never paid coaches.
It's pretty good math there.
They pay the coach at UCLA $3 million. They paid me $30,000.
How many years were you away?
14.
14.
Yeah.
Wow. And you've been away almost that
I've been
now.
10 now. I've been away
now.
10. Yeah. Now that's why we're in the business here with this.
Bring this over.
I was born and raised in the Napa Valley. And with some friends, I started making wine while I was coaching the Rams for fun. 150 cases with my dad's name on it, Jean-Louis Vermeil. We made Cabernet, 150 cases. And we did that until 2008. We turned the whole process into a business. Now we have 2 tasting rooms in Napa, and we make 3,000 cases of wine. We sold 3,400 cases last year, and we'll probably sell about 3,500 cases this year. We aren't making any money yet. We haven't made the playoffs, but we have good wine. But if people go on, if they just Google VermeilWines.com, they can go on. We have a special right now. We're selling this blended 34 for Super Bowl 34. It's a nice little red wine, blended Cabernet Franc, Petit Syrah, and they can get 3 bottles for the price of 2 by using the code 342, numbers 342, and they get 3 bottles of wine for the price of 2.
How often you get out to the vineyards? And
I was just there last week.
Okay.
I was out there 4 days, and I spend most of September there. I drive tractor during the harvest, and I go.
It's a way of life, right?
Yeah.
Literally.
Oh, it's fun. It's a lifestyle. That's why there's so many wineries out there, because people love it.
Football. You know how hard this was to do once in the 80s, twice,
Yeah.
What the Belichick-Brady combination, this is incredible. I said
no
the next
question.
3 Super Bowls, I expect to see him again at least once.
Sure. First off, it's never been done before.
Right.
You name a quarterback that's played in the same offense with the same head coach for 17 years. You can't do it. And He's a great player, no question. But what makes him a great player is having been in the same system with the same people for so long and mature in it. His reactions, his responses under pressure, he makes very, very few mistakes. What, two interceptions this year? Is that right?
2 interceptions.
You know, it's unbelievable what he has done. And Bill, there's nobody does it any better. Each year they've honed their process. You know, they change the rules. No, you can't wear pads as many times. You can't hit as many times. You can't have as many double days. Did it change them? No, they just hone their process. Nobody does it as well.
How do you feel about that? Less practice time.
I don't like it. You know, no coach would. We would not have won the World Championship with the Ram team, Super Bowl 34, if under the new rules. Because when you take over a losing organization that lost more games than anybody in football in the 90s, and 3 years later you win a Super Bowl. We did that because our training camps were and our year-round hard work. We never took the pads off all season.
Right.
Now you can only wear the pads 14 times during the season. So you couldn't develop your players.
Do you understand it though? From
I understand.
From
I understand.
yeah,
I understand it. But I also think there's some real negatives, especially in offensive line play. I don't think it's as good as it used to be. Now they don't block, they push, and they all stand up. You get more knees. To me, they all stand up. You get more ankles and knees because they're all playing the game high. You know, and in the old days, they played the game lower.
Right.
New England, to me, right now, with their line coach, is a great line coach, plays the game lower. They really do. You know, they average yards per rush is 3.8, but they still run the ball 30 times a game.
Now, he tried to get out of coaching, and
they brought him back because he's so valuable. See, they appreciate what a great coach can do. See, and no one does it any better than they do it.
God, this guy's like caffeine. Can you just hang out all day and just keep me going here and maybe pour me a glass?
Hey, I wish I could, but it's against the rules.
I get you moving on football and rules. You make me want to run through a wall.
Hey, well, you got a hell of a coach in Baltimore, too. John Harbaugh is a great football coach.
Well, that's a whole family of football
He's
there.
He's a great football. I knew his dad. I know his brother, but I know John well. I've been on his practice field. I've had the opportunity to visit with his team. He's a great football coach.
I wanted to ask you about John Harbaugh because we're here at the Super Bowl. Bill Belichick's been doing this in New England now 15, 16, 17 years. And the great Bill Walsh at one point, and this was pre-salary cap era, but he talked about the idea of a coach having a shelf life.
Yeah.
And clearly we see Belichick has had a longer shelf life than anyone right now.
Smart ownership.
But I guess my question for you, Coach, is in this era with the salary cap, you have way more rapid roster turnover.
Right.
Do you think Bill Walsh's idea about that shelf life, is that something that applies as much today, or is it, like you said, does it come down to ownership having a vision and being patient to let their guys do their job?
Yeah, and ownership being aware as to why maybe this year they weren't as good as they were last year.
Okay.
Rather than blaming the coach not being as good a coach last year when he won the division. This year he didn't, so they fire him.
Right.
Okay. I just think some owners are more impulsive. Some owners listen to other people. Some listen and read the newspapers, but New England is so stable because the ownership is so stable, and then the coaches. I remember Billy when he was a graduate assistant intern at New York Giants, and I was coaching the Eagles. That's how old I am.
Well, he was running
I knew his dad.
Yeah.
I got to know his dad well when his dad was at the Naval Academy, and I was broadcasting Army-Navy games. So now it's what they have done may never be done again because there's only one Robert Kraft.
Sure.
There's only one Belichick.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, and I don't know how many owners. So you got a chance with. I really respect the owner in Baltimore.
Steve Bisciotti.
I think he's very stable, and I think if you have a down year, he's not going to automatically think it's the coach's fault. He can't coach anymore and fire him and start all over again.
Head coach Dick Vermeil joining us here. For you with the Belichick and Brady, obviously they got some black marks, right? I mean, obviously they've been caught with their hand in a cookie jar. That takes away from it for me. I see you as a guy all about integrity, all about fairness, and they're going to carry that with them. We talked about Hall of Fame. When that comes up, that happened. And when you get caught, you always think they've done it 100 times without getting caught.
I've been in the league long enough to know I work for them, that are coaches in the NFL Hall of Fame that did things to try to win a ball game that technically aren't ethical, okay? But no one caught them, and they're still in the Hall of Fame. So I don't hold that against Bill.
Did you ever cheat, honestly?
No, not really.
I didn't think you did. I would be surprised if you cheated.
I never did because we weren't good enough that it wouldn't make a difference.
The wines are out. You can
The wines are better than my coaching. My winemaker is better than I was as a football coach.
That's impossible.
Thomas Brown. Oh, yeah.
You're a championship
Thomas
coach.
Brown as a winemaker is Tom Brady in the Napa Valley. He's been winemaker of the year in the Napa Valley and everything. He's a great winemaker. He took over making our wine 2 years ago.
Well, that's a pass I want to catch. Then.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. Well,
Yeah.
good luck with
Go
the
online.
wines. Thanks for visiting with us.
Yeah,
It's
fun.
always a pleasure. You bring a smile to our
Go
faces.
Ravens. Go Ravens.
And I still see your face on
Thanks,
billboards
Coach.
in Philadelphia sometimes when I drive through.
Yeah.
There he
Take
goes,
care.
head coach Dick
Take
Vermeil.
care.
The wines are here. You can enter the code 342, and you get 3 bottles for the price of 2. 342. Pretty easy, right? There you go. Head coach Dick Vermeil joining
Thanks,
us here.
Dick.
We're live on Radio Row, Super Bowl 51 in Houston. It is all brought to you by our friends at BuyAToyota.com. You can go out to our audio vault and check out anything you missed. And, of course, our morning newspaper delivered and powered up via Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore. And we never stop talking Baltimore sports.
You guys are awesome.
Thanks, man.